Kamara! My name is Sage Blake. I'm a wanderer, storyteller, artist and mature, and... oh boy, I have several stories for this. You might have... You might have remembered at some point that back in the day when I was starting doing video creation, one of the things that I did was a series of indie game coverage. Essentially, I was looking at demos of indie games and being like, yeah, let's see if this is any good. Let's see if this is absolute shite. Sometimes I could find an absolute gem. Sometimes I found Ruder's Trip. Which, nothing against that game, just, it's very left field. It's not the greatest thing in the world. But regardless, one of the games I took a look at during that point was Crown Trick. And I was more than impressed by it when it came up during the, I believe it was Summer Indie Fest of 2019? I could be wrong on that one. But regardless, let's get to our main attraction for the night. Well, for the morning, I should say. I figure, what better way to start this off than by doing a bit of the thinky thinks? Because I happen to like my dungeon crawlers, I happen to like my roguelikes, and across the board, I am a bit of a... My bigger tenets are logic, reason, failure, and chaos. Shoot, I should have let that intro play. Ah well, I kind of want to get into the game. For those unfamiliar, Crown Trick is essentially Sheer the Wanderer with a different aesthetic, and with a few more mechanics than you'd initially think. I have made a bit of progress on this specific file. If you haven't noticed, we're quite a ways into the game. Specifically, first chapter is cleared. Once that happens, you get access to a few different chapters that you can play through with some specific mechanics to them. There are a whole bunch of items else to explain, such as some meta progression, so you can carry over more money, or otherwise carry over more items, or even just find better equipment. But, at least for right now, let's kick this off with Gears of Sorrow. The premise of this game is you're a little kid who's been sucked into the nightmare dimension of all things, and your only way out is to depend on this ethereal being known as... well, just a crown, honestly. Hello there, Danielto. Hope you're doing well. Within Chapter 2, each of the 3 dungeons that you could pick has a specific, central gimmick. For this one specifically, it seems that we're gonna be dealing with Fragile. Enemies break easier, but they are broken for less time. Oh, really, T? Also, hello, morning. Hope you're doing well. I've been wanting to pick this thing up for the longest. It went on sale recently. I caught it just at the end of it when the sale was going up, and oh god, I love it. So far doing alright. Had some coffee, had some, oats. I think I'm good. And in terms of weapons, we have some decent choices here. The Staff of Deafening Thunder. Reach of 2, decent stats all around, not a bad weapon. Trident of Tentacles. There's a Pisser, which I, okay, little confession, I like the firearms in this game and how they operate, but, oh, and there's also an axe, but it's an axe. I think I'm gonna start with the spear. I like my spears, I like outreaching my opponent. And guns especially are really, really good at that. It's on Game Pass, huh? Ooh, nice. For every time you start a dungeon, you get to take familiar powers with you. You get one of these to start with, and then you can get a second as you go along within the dungeon and beat mini-bosses. Each of these guys give you 2 abilities to work with. And out of these... I like Talon Crawler most. Yes, and now, time for Crab. For those unfamiliar with how Sheer and the Wanderer works, essentially, it's a turn-by-turn based dungeon crawler. Every time you move, all opponents move. However, there are some extra gimmicks, such as blinking. You can only do this so many times at a time, but if you find yourself in a pinch, you can blink to avoid enemy attacks altogether, and give you some time to process what's going on. Oh, I got wet. Let's wait a turn. Actually, what am I doing? Zap! Hello there, pair! Hope you're doing well. And yeah, exactly, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. That's actually a pretty good comparison on this, because you do get a whole bunch of powers that you can rotate in and out. It's like party members with Pokemon. Again, the series that this is based around is a series known as... I believe it's... Kotetsu no Fushigi or something like that. Mystery Dungeon, essentially. There are a bunch of different games within the series / genre. Some of the biggest are a series of titles called Sheer and the Wanderer. I've never messed with dual hooks. Or dual blades, period, actually. Aw, sorry, pair. Will's debatable. Then in that case, I hope that your day goes better. I hope you can manage to find a good enough space to recover, because I can understand that. It's been a rough week for many. Donk. Good. While I'm at it, let's use another Charge Zap, just to get that up. Wrecked! Getting better from a big sick. Ah, that would do it. So far, at least, seems like you're doing well, which is good. Being sick is never a good thing, honestly, but sometimes it's necessary. That way you can keep yourself up, keep yourself moving. Ooh, what is that? Dream Key. Perfect! Right, I lost my tangent. Mystery Dungeon games. There are many in the series. They originally started being made on SNES, I believe. Again, it started with Sheer and the Wanderer, and there have been many, many Mystery Dungeon titles in many different series. Not just Sheer and the Wanderer proper, but also side series like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, which people are more familiar with in the West for many reasons. There's also 2 Etrian Mystery Dungeon games, the second of which we never got in the West, specifically because it didn't exactly sell well. There's Persona Q2 in some respects, and Persona Q, etc., ad nauseam, ad nauseam. But more pressingly, each of the 3 dungeons within Crown Tricks Chapter 2 has specific gimmicks to it. For this one specifically, if you don't understand this reference, I'm sorry. If you do understand this reference, I'm sorry even harder. So what we have to do in this specific dungeon is, you guessed it, make your own love glove. Every floor you complete, you get a gem to upgrade the Zap Glove. Once it gets fully upgraded, you can use it at a specific place and be able to clear the dungeon. Otherwise, it's just a consumable with a cooldown in your inventory, if I believe. It may be useful, it may not be. But anyway, while you're exploring these dungeons, you may find extra events like this. The Nameless Statue. You notice the gentle glimmer of white marble in the darkness a few steps away. Upon further inspection, you find an angelic statue of a robed female looking down on you. Its expression serene, yet resolute. Pray with sincerity, and a blessing shall be bestowed upon you. However, know that power is never granted for free. Essentially, this comes at a trade-off. You can gain some max HP, pay some HP proper, increase your damage dealt, but pay some HP period, or do nothing. Honestly, I'm not enthused with any of these, specifically because I like having a decent amount of HP, I like having a decent amount of mana. I don't like taking a trade-off unless I'm forced to. Specifically because, well, I'm fairly... not necessarily reckless, so much as unlucky. And honestly, none of these are great, so I'm gonna stick with it, what I've got. Because my current spear makes it so that every so often when I attack an enemy, I drench them in water. By drenching them in water, I can use an electrical attack, deal more damage to them, increase the chance of stun, and generally make a bad situation tenable. It's not a great idea for me to pick up poison, because poison overwrites water. We have a dream key. It's also not a good idea for me to pick up any of those, because I'm full on health, and I don't necessarily need money right now. Ooh, challenge. Very occasionally, when you're exploring a new room, you can get a challenge. In this case, take damage less than 5 times for reward. The less times you get hurt, the better the reward. This is what I mean by, early morning thinkies. And, let's see what I've got in terms of items. I've got Pirate Cannon, well, the Zap Glove. I have half a mind to just turn in this cannon. Toasty. Excellent! By getting hit 0 times, we get our maximum reward. A buttload of cash. And Boots of Extremity. Cause explosions in area when passing by lava tiles. At that, a Dream Fragment, which isn't exactly necessary, but hey, good to hold on to. It's for extra story purposes, lore building, that type of stuff. I don't know if I can go through that door. Let's wait. This is a very unexpectedly tame room. Let's leave it alone, just in case. Port over. Donk. Ah, feck. Didn't realize that was such a big area. I am not getting a good opportunity to do much. Well then, this is a big problem. I'm out of ports, and okay, good. I was hoping that was going to break him, but you never know. I didn't explain it yet, but one of the big gimmicks with this game is the break system. As you deal damage to enemies, you can reduce their break meter. When it hits 0, they take extra damage from attacks for a certain amount of time. Normally it's 7 moves, but because of the gimmick of this dungeon, enemies break a little easier, but stay broken for less time. Okay, we have Super Zap, but I don't feel like using it. Instead, let's set up a trap. That's what we're talking about. And at that... I also have a bunch of Pirate Cannon. Oh, no, wait, yeah, a bunch of Pirate Cannons, actually. Let's toss one out, deal some damage to this guy straight. Really? Actually... This is the perfect opportunity. One of the reasons why I like this specific power is not just because of the trap that I can throw out. Oh, hey, we got a follow. I didn't notice. Couple moments. Thank you for the follow, RT! Hello! Welcome to Synapse! We host all types of wanderers here, yourself included. Right, I got distracted. One of the big reasons why I like this specific familiar's power. Not just because you can lay down traps and deal constant chip damage to enemies, Super Zap. Use this twice, it's not too impressive, it only hits at a tile in front of you. Every third use deals ridiculous damage, paralyzes enemies, and has much larger reach. It's wonderful for situations that you have a lot of enemies in and need something quick to deal with them. Speaking of something quick to deal with them. Zap! Broken. I don't like the look of that guy. And this guy isn't going to be broken for long. So far my morning's doing well. Had some nice food for breakfast, and I figure what better way to start the day than do some thinky-thinkies. At that, blow it. Crap, I didn't mean to move forward. Yeah, you know what, let's use Charge Zap, take you out quick. Unfortunately, one of the big annoyances with this specific enemy, sometimes when you attack them, they instead move backward a bunch of tiles instead of taking damage, and completely no-sell the attack. In hordes, they can be absolutely annoying, and I'm kind of glad we were able to deal with them. Right, this was a new mini-boss, all things considered. So we can actually steal their powers now that we've killed them. At that, we can also get a relic. Every time you switch familiars, max HP increases. Interesting. For every attack that hits an enemy, your dodge chance increases for a maximum of 4 stacks. Lasts until the enemy is defeated. Alternatively, whenever you enter another floor with a different type of weapon, max MP increases. All of these kinda suck! I mean, I guess I could take the Amulet of Evasion, because I could more readily apply that. But even still, none of those options were all that great. Actually, this is really good, because this specific enemy deals with water, so by stealing their powers, we can start to lay down some water tiles, I think. Actually, let's double check their abilities. Ice Nova! Land an Ice Nova at an area, dealing damage and generating ice tiles. And Sleet. Continuous damage at an area. Not bad, actually. I didn't mean to use that. Frig. But hey. That was actually a pretty good, all things considered. We are halfway down on our health and our magic, but I think we'll be fine, provided we can play it safe. Oh, why? I just had to open my big fat mouth. Just saying, me. Why do you think that we could play it safe? This is a roguelike. This is Sheer the Wanderer. There's no such definition as safe. I hate you, game. Actually, this is a perfect opportunity for me to deal with a tiny. And let's see if I can port offensively. Just to deal with you. So far, so good. Although, you're right there, and I don't like the look of your face. Nuke it? Yep, posture check. Sit up a bit, and I'm out of water. Oh, I'm out of water. That's a problem. Tell you what. Once we hit to the end of this floor, I'll go get some water, give you a couple minutes to stretch. Sorry about that. I got caught off guard. I hate myself. Let's lay a trap. Shocky, shocky. I love that damage. At that, let's check out the new ability. Toasted. Yeah, it might not be a bad idea, honestly. One quick 30-second ad while I go get water, because my house isn't that large. It wouldn't take me that long to make the trip. Let's see what we've got here. Increased physical damage taken by all drenched enemies. That's really good, actually, because we have a way of soaking enemies. Extend freeze status. When using a skill, there's a chance the MP cost will be reduced. Okay, by comparison to the last set of relics, all of these are good, and I'm having a time and a half picking one! I guess weaken drenched enemies, because, again, my current weapon applies drench to them. Well, has a chance to, rather. So it's a good idea for me to have that. That way is the boss. Let's not touch that. I think this is the last route. What? Okay, never mind. I guess that is all of the rooms in the dungeon. Huh. I'm a little disappointed. What am I missing here? Because apparently that's saying I didn't pick up something. I glitched hard. I forgot. For whatever reason, I saw this. It didn't register in my head. Secret shop. Oh, but all these weapons are bots. Cat o' Nine Tails. Deal more damage to imprisoned enemies. Okay. Okay, these are looking actually somewhat decent. Every time you switch familiars, max HP increases. Honestly, I'm gonna take the Primordial Wand. I use a lot of skills, and as a result, Primordial Wand will help me make the best of the ones that I do use. Having an extra chance to cast a powerful skill, really, really handy. Especially if it happens to be like, well, not just Super Zap, but also Earth-Shattering Smite! Just saying. Double traps? Hella yes. The general pattern of the game is you do a floor full of enemies and challenges, then you take care of a boss. After this boss, I'll go get my water. Because this boss is gonna give me hell and a half. Neptune. Neptune is a very frustrating boss. And right off the gate, we get a double cast. Two, three. Deal with you real quick. One of the reasons why Neptune is so annoying, she does a lot of teleporting around. In tandem with that, a whole lot of elemental barriers, elemental tiles. She is a rookie killer. That's not good. Cannon. That way I could clear out the poison. At that. Send out a Super Zap. One, two, and three. Wait turn, take out the minion. One, two, three. At that, let's see about icing her out. When you're dealing with bosses and the like, you may see some notches on their health bar like this. Every time you get to one of those notches, you get refunded some of your mana. It's a really good idea for you to be using skills in a boss fight. You can deal a lot of damage to enemies. Oh, that's a double cast. Excellent. Just... the data speaks for itself on that one. One double-casted skill, and she's already down one chunk of her health. Shite. Enough out of you. Okay, good. Take a couple moments to breathe. Take a sippy. Because one of the things that you can gain access to is a specific pot to restore your HP. It's very useful to have, very useful to upgrade. It's the standard roguelike thing. And she's teleported. Great. Whenever you're ready. 1, 2, 3. And we have Super Zap. Although, laying the Smite Trap down first would be a better option. Specifically because the electricity on oil sets up a damage trap. That's not good. I don't have a way of immediately stunning you, so I'm just gonna have to port it out of the way. Of course you port it out of the way. Alright, we're just gonna have to make the trek back. That's not good. There we go. Poke you once. Set up another smite. I'm getting a lot of those double casts. There we go. That worked wonders. And in terms of other skills, let's rain down some sleet. I still have this Super Zap. I'm pretty much banking it at this point, because I don't necessarily need to use it to take care of her. Good thing I decided not to do that, because otherwise that would have been a waste of mana. 2, 3. Enemies dealt with. Port over here. Let's lay that down. Shit! Okay, so far so good. So far so good. That's the Zap Glove. I don't want to use that. Yeah, let's set down the Lightning Rune. Nowhere really I can use that without wasting it. Let's just sit on it for now. Now would actually be a pretty good time to poke, poke. And now would be a good time to use the Super Zap, because that way I can line up a bunch of enemies. 2, 3. Couple quick pokes. And toasty. Like I said, Crown Trick and Sheer in the Wander type games are very thinky heavy. You have to do a lot of constant thinking and micromanaging of your actions, what actions you could take when. And it's very much a game of not just resource management, but also cleverness. And that's pretty big on the reason why I like these types of games. They encourage you to think, they encourage you to tamper, they encourage you to experiment. And in tandem with that, these being roguelikes, no two runs are going to be too similar to one another. You're going to have a lot of different opportunities, and across the board, it's just really, really fun to mess with all the combinations that you can get. Reduce the breakpoint on frozen enemies a little more. Not great. Whenever damage is received, gain a buff to your damage, lasting a certain amount of turns. Not bad, considering I get hit often. Gain a shield whenever damage is dealt to enemies under a status condition. That one I will take. Specifically because we have multiple ways of dealing statuses to enemies. The spear that I've got can drench, the electricity abilities can paralyze, the ice abilities can freeze. It's generally a good idea. Alright. Yep, gonna go get that water, and any time that I spend on this break will be tacked on to the end of stream, so don't worry about that. Take a bit of time to stretch, relax. Meantime, I'ma do my things, run a quick ad. Alright, sorry about that. I don't know if the ad is finished, because I can't exactly look at any type of backup feed. But I think the 30 seconds are more than over. So, again, still need to redeem some water. Let's take care of that. Sip. We're good. Alright, so, after taking care of a boss, you do get an opportunity to get some items, recover your HP. Why is that blinking? There we go. You can also gain access to this little fountain here. You only get to use this once. It will max out your HP, max out your MP, and cap out your elixirs if you've used any. There's also a shop. Come and take a look at the new feature of my shop, Weaponry Forge. It's all thanks to Mr. Blacksmith over there, who lent me a spare forge. With a bit of investment, new aspects can be obtained for your tired old weapons. But here's the deal. No refunds if they're not the aspects you wanted. In other words, you could toss your weapon in here, get some new abilities on it. Oh wow, I didn't realize that this thing had perfect accuracy. That explains a lot, and that's amazing. The weapons here aren't all that great, nor are the passives. Actually, no. Tell a lie, the passives are good, but we're kinda podunk roar. Podunk roar. Podunk poor. Sorry about that. Remove Scorch debuff to self. Not great. I mean, it is useful, just not for my current loadout. Wind damage in an area, creating a whirlwind. Explaining this quick. Most of the elements will lay down damage tiles. Wind is the one exception in that it interacts with all tiles in order to wipe them away from the field, period. I think it also deals extra damage when it does that, but I could be wrong. I'm gonna take... Honestly, none of these. I'll save my money, thank you. So in that case, let's get to our next floor. When you're ready, game. There we go. Oh, no way, I guess there are wind tiles after all. Even still... Let's see. Yeah, let's, lay down a trap to start with. That'll deal with the enemies toward the back. As for you... Deck you once. That's not good. It looks really intimidating seeing all those tiles there, but there is a predictable pattern. Sheeran the Wanderer is very famous for that. Everything has a pattern to it, and if you don't recognize it immediately, then it may take a bit of time for you to recognize it. But everything is patterned, everything is dodgeable, and everything can be carefully and meticulously planned about. It's just a matter of figuring out how you can plan around it. Again, these games are very thinky heavy. There we go. And 10, with the various things we could do, we could also wait a turn. This doesn't sound like it would be practical. It is. Specifically because sometimes you just want to do nothing, just to wait for the enemy to get into a better position. That's not a better position, me. Much better. And with you broken, that chips you down. There's even an extra shop here, are you kidding me? Let's save that. Instead, get a bit of extra cash. And what type of challenge do we have in the next room? Ah. You. As usual, set up a trap. We get a double cast on it. Excellent. Rune of Teleportation. On use, teleport you to a random area. That's useful. Because, again, you only get so many ports, and while you do earn more by dealing damage to enemies and breaking them, you don't get to keep any more than 3 ports per room. Shit. Misjudged the spacing. That's a problem. And these types of games, it's usually not one big attack that ends up being the problem, so much as all of these smaller attacks that you suffer along the way. Speaking of smaller attacks, we can finally get a second gem in this. Let's go for Paratrigger. And an event. The Whispers of the Fairy. A winged fairy seems to have taken to you. You hear the gentle whispers echoing in your mind. Weary traveler, rejoice in my presence, for I am the embodiment of the fabled spring of fairies. Rejoice, for I shall help you with your journey in the form of your choice if you so wish. We can replenish an elixir, gain Aegis of the Fairy, gain some max HP. I'm gonna take an extra fairy. This is an important item to keep with you for Crown Trick. While you have, actually, it's not even an item. So we just have a chance on death to revive. That's really, really handy. Because there is a specific item called a Fairy in a Jar, and if you have that item, this is really loud. If you have that item, then it will consume itself when you perish, and instead of you perishing, then it will restore 10% of your HP. It's a really handy item. Honestly, I'm just doing that to show off. Hello, Muffin! Hope you're doing well. We're playing some Crown Trick. So, a whole bunch of thinkies this morning. What the heck is that? I don't think I've seen a weapon like that before. So in that case, let's go to our mainstay. Well, one of them. That's not good. Break you. I'll have enough time to deal with you. Break another enemy. Excellent. So far doing alright. Had a nice breakfast, and I think my mind is sharp as a tack right now, so that's all the better. Toasty! You move forward a space, so I get a free donk. Get another free donk. There we go. Just like chess. Open up the enemy. And voila. So what are you? What are all three of these? I'm not sure. Let's leave them alone for now. We can get a new set of familiar powers here. Honestly, ooh, Trickster. That's really tempting. Because Trickster does a lot of enemy manipulation, and it's really, really useful. I think I will take it, actually. Because freezing isn't doing exactly as much as I had wanted it to. Being able to push around enemies and stun them for a little bit, really, really handy. It seems like the boss might be to the north, so let's leave that room alone. Instead... Oh no. My inner gambling addiction. No. No, I must resist! I must resist! We'll come back to that. I want to finish up all the other rooms, get as much money as I can, then go check out the secret shop, then check out the gacha. So one of the things that this specific spirit can do is gravitational field. There's also a lightning orb, which can Tesla off of enemies, deal a whole bunch of damage, get a whole bunch of break chance and stun chance, and it's very, very useful. Actually, for this situation, it'd be better for me to lay down a shocky trap. Port over this way, just to give myself some space. That's a weapon, but it's not a great weapon. Instead, toss down a Thunder Rune. Toss down another Electric Trap. Toasty. Quick port over to the other side of this guy. I get probably 2 donks. I want to save Super Zap. So instead, let's back up a bit, wait a turn. There we go. Right as rain. And minimal damage. Unstable reinforced shield. Interesting. The tar is going to be very useful. And a rune. Increase your current MP every time you use an item. Not bad, not bad. When enemies hit with a skill, their resistance to that element will be reduced. When the resistance of it goes below 0, it will be turned into a weakness. Or, for every 5 skills, the cost of the next skill will be 0. I'll take the Magician's Cloak, honestly. And let's check the map. 2 more rooms. Let's go this way. The basic shop. Which... it's not great, honestly. I could spec into Grease, but again, we do gain a benefit to soaking enemies. So... none of those are all that great. Let's leave this shop alone for now. We could re-roll the items in here, but it's not in my best interest. I'm better off saving my cash. Drop a trap. Toasty. Toasty! Wait 1 turn. That way, I could port, get 2 free breaks on you guys. Then get myself out of harm's way. Get free Dream Key, good. And all enemies dealt with. 0 damage. This is the boss, so let's leave it alone. And by the look of it, we've got another room where we can upgrade the Zap Glove. Get a gem on that. So far, so progress. Let's increase the attack range a bit. I haven't been using it at all, but it's specifically because I'm very picky about when and where I use my items. You might have seen this when I've played Mystery Dungeon, but I'm very careful about what items I use when, and I don't use items specifically when I feel I need to. I don't know what this does. Silences enemies. Really handy. Lay down a trap. Perfect. That'll shut down that enemy. Then next, let's corral you guys. I could also... Oh, that's nasty. At that, do my shockies. I can poke you from behind a couple times and deal with you. I don't have much mana left, is the big issue with this. And I'm up against an enemy that lays down traps. Actually, what am I doing? Break you. Port to this side. Just so I could deal with that guy quick. Crunchy. Okay. I get one donk, but... Okay, 2 donks. I can also port to the other side of this. Gauntlet Poisonous Spore is not bad, but not in my interests. Gonna have to port there. Shock you. 4, 5. Get Charge Zap in. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, this isn't a great position to be in. Do another Charge Zap, build that up. Donk you once. He's at a break of 5 right now. I don't have a means of immediately breaking him. Now I do. And with that... let's lay down some Smite. Just to hasten along his death. He did get off a minion, so we're gonna need to deal with that quick. Not too much of an issue. All set. Quite a bit of chess work, but again, I'm used to that. And for our troubles, regain enemy when regain mana when an enemy is drenched and is defeated. Nice. When damaging targets not yet in combat, break decreases by twice as much. Not as great. Yeah, I'm taking the Bamboo Flask. There's not really any other option that would be great for my current build right now. Check the map quick. There's one other room. Ooh, you've got food, Muffin. Enjoy. Hope it's tasty. That's 2 keys. A legendary stat scroll. That's legendarily not interesting. I guess I'll take skill power specifically because I've been using a lot of skills and let's face it. As I've already mentioned, being able to lay down a damage field, really, really handy. And in here, by the look of it, we get a choice of chests. You gotta be kidding me. There are mimics in this game? There are mimics in this game? You gotta be kidding me. I didn't think there'd be mimics in this game. That is amazingly annoying. Posture check. Sit up. Me? All set. Oh! 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 Spear of the Defender! Oh my god, that's so overpowered! And a sippy. Okay. Let's see. I've got some pretty good options here. I think I'll take the staff. Because that should be able to keep our Drench meta. I guess we get both of these chests. So, all the better. A chemical humidifier. Excuse me? I'll take. And we can't really do anything with that, so I'm just gonna leave it alone. Let's go check out the secret shop, see what's in there. Then probably piss away a bit of my money on the gacha, because humor, why not? Kick. Lol. The weapons aren't too interesting here, because, again, I've got Staff of the Sea. Jack in the Box, not great. Obtain damage buff based on the number of hits it dealt during 5 turns. That could be useful. Bracelet, Heavy Strike. That could be useful too. Reduce the number of... It reduces all hits taken that are 5 or less. Damage to 1. Yeah, that's gonna be useful, because I happen to use a lot of skills, and I also have an ability that gives me a chance to double cast. Alright, where was that gacha? Answer, I think it was here. So, borscht. Yeah, I think I have heard of it. It's like a stew, if I remember correctly. A fairly thick stew. I could be wrong. Okay, then. It's a soup. Sorry about that. Right, so... Gotcha. You could spend a bit of cash to get a super powerful weapon here. More often than not, you will get trash. However, unlike most gacha games, this one is actually a fairly fair gacha in that you could choose to lock out specific weapons. It will cost you extra money to do so, but you could do it. I just wanted to roll once, just so you could see how it works. We don't exactly need a good weapon, though, because we've got Staff of the Sea. I hope you enjoy your borscht, Muffin. I want to try new foods at some point, like... Oh, trust me, I am very, very intimately familiar with Arknights. I actually have it on my phone right now. It's been a while since I've last played it, though, so sorry. Oh, right. Vlad the Impaler. Just lay down trap. Port and... sling. They just keep slinging spells at you. 2, 3, 4, 5. Port there. Keep slinging. Excellent. Yeah, I'll lay down trap. Broken. Excellent. Friend made you download it and you're addicted? Yeah, Arknights does that. It's really, really well crafted. I love the characters, I love the world, I love the gameplay. It's just really well built across the board. Yeah, can't reach you from here. And I should probably get out of the way of that. Sling a spell. Lay down some shocky trap. This guy's going down pretty quickly. I think I can lay down another shock trap. Good. And broken. 2. Actually, while I'm at it, super zap. Just chip this guy down. Voila! Fox girls are adorable. Which one? Do we include Cruz on that, or...? Because there are at least a few of them, if I remember correctly. One of them is, like, a healer. She's absolutely adorable. I think I'll take some attack power, because I think that's what I'm lacking at this point. Skill power would be nice, but... let's face it, my skills are already fairly beef. Hand of Dog. Every 10 HP recovered grants a buff to the damage dealt. Expires on the next attack. After using the elixir, increases defenses. Ends when you exit the room. Aw, all of these kind of suck. I guess I'll take the heavy. Don't worry, you'll be able to get a perfumer soon. If I remember correctly, you're kind of just handed one. Did I not use an entire Did I not use an elixir for that entire floor? Oh crap, I'm getting good at this game. You know that, or I got the build made from heaven. MP increased for every time you defeat an enemy with full HP. None of those are great. If anything, I would like to take the water cannon scroll, but I don't know if I have the inventory space for it. Oh, I do. Precisely 1 inventory space, so done. Yes, T, we are winning big time. Since you never got to take a look at this. Look at all of this shit we have. It's all predicated upon whether I'm able to soak enemies and deal status ailments, but let's face it, that's not going to be hard when I have a weapon like this. Yeah. Let's see. Vermeil, Susuro, Mir, but you also have Cutter and Stewart. Yeah, if I remember correctly, Mir is a really good... Yeah, Mir was the one that I was talking about. That was really adorable. She's a really great healer just across the board. Especially if you can upgrade her, because then she can splash out heals. You say that, Tay, but considering how difficult this game gets, it's not excessive in the slightest. If anything, this is underpowered. But yeah, like... when it comes to Arknights, I kind of have this weird relationship where some days I play a ridiculous a lot of it, but other days I have to give it some time, and let's just say that this time around, when I came back, they were doing an event with a specific unit, and oh god, that unit is amazing, and I wish I could do every single run with that unit as the central focus point, because their big shtick is constant regeneration, constant buffs, and they're amazing, but they can't attack. I'm trying to remember their name, but I can't. They were a water unit, too. Yeah. Let's get that 4th gem in. We don't have any keys, so we can't exactly pick up any of these. Like I would on... Actually, no. Tell a lie, I would like that scroll. But again, we don't have a key, so we can't pick it up. At least for right now. Crossbow. These crossbows kind of suck. I swear, they just don't deal anywhere near as much damage as you think a crossbow would deal. Shocky. Actually, if anything, I should be backing up from you. Something explodinated down there. Toasty. We did take a hit, but that's tiny in terms of HP. Yeah, Gummy is a pretty good defender. Again, I believe if you upgrade her, one of the things that she can do is temporarily stop attacking, but do some stupid healing. Let's take some more skill power. I shouldn't have moved up, but this is my life now. Actually, if anything, that was uncalled for, game. Charge zap. All of those get lit. Excellent. Let's wait that out. Horn of Ice. It deals minor ice damage. Applies frozen. Not bad. Shoot, I'm not paying attention. Crap. I didn't realize there were more enemies. That's a problem. Shocky. Dinner. Not a great weapon. Zima and Estina... I actually don't think I have seen those units. Yeah, let's take out the tar. It would have been nice if you stayed in the fire, but hey. Actually. These are the things we lost, the things we lost to the fire, fire, fire. I'm getting cocky. I shouldn't get cocky. This is a common thing that happens with me. I get cocky, and then I die, and then I cry. What is this frog doing? Moist toad. Ew. Moist toad man. Ew. Ew. Why did that come to mind? Love the Ursus race because they're Russian. Well, that would do it. And I will agree, they are adorable. They are adorable. see. Port there. And an event. The surgical room. You discover what appears to be a surgical room of sorts. Messy and stuffed with supplies. It seems like an operation was performed here just recently. The pungent smell of disinfectant and blood is making you dizzy. You hear You hear footsteps in the corridor behind you. You decide. So by the look of it, we could sacrifice a bit of HP, have a chance of getting a relic. Honestly, I don't know how much HP I had, but I think I'm good. Yeah, 169 HP. I think I want to keep that. Just saying. Shit, I just... Funny number! Anyway. Ooh, we can get our last gem here, too. The one glove to rule them all has been finished. Actually, come to think of it, this is the farthest I've gotten in this specific dungeon. I'm actually impressed. Okay. Do my usual, lay down chalky fields. That's impressive. Too bad you missed, Noodle. Scroll of Storms. And what are my current items? Okay, I have an empty slot. Although, dealing with this guy comes first and foremost. I don't like the look of you. Because you're an oil mage. You lay down a lot of oil traps and are very annoying. That is a pathetic sword that I really don't need. 2, 1. Excellent. Cursed chest. Ew, no thank you. How these work is, they give you a trade-off, but they could also give you a bunch of rare relics or items or cash. No thank you, because what that specific one does is it will constantly tick down your HP as you take steps until you defeat an enemy. That could be simple, that could take forever and a day and a night. Not a good idea. Especially with the current layout of this dungeon. Because we don't exactly know where enemies are, and we could be bleeding for a long time. Shocky trap. Wait a turn. Port to your other side, and... I could break you. Port back. It's not a great idea for me to do that, so let's just donk you once. Then charge up this zap. Splash you a bunch. Get back up for a bit. Wait a turn so that can poof. He's laid down a bunch of traps. It's not a good idea for me to take a step forward until those clear out. I don't exactly have a means of attacking him either. I could spend a relic, but I'm not sure if I want to. Especially since this guy could just trigger his own traps. I mean, I guess I could spend a lightning orb, because that one's free. I'm using a few too many ports, but honestly, I have the loadout to afford it. Actually, come to think of it, that will stagger you and kill you. Now to deal with these punks. I think... No, let's not use a super zap. If anything, these guys are in the perfect position for me to lightning orb them. Excellent. Now all that's left is you. And you're for the most part just a sniper. Took a bit of unnecessary damage, but hey. Challenge dealt with. Every time damage is taken, increase damage taken for enemies. Excuse me? Oh, hell yes. Guaranteeing more than 20 damage a pop for an attack? Not a bad idea. Let's see, and we have precisely one room. Let's go see what we are dealing with. Best case scenario, it's nothing too bad. Explosion. Yeah, this was effortless. Unfortunately, we are losing out on, by the look of it, a blueprint. That's kind of a shame. But hey, can't exactly predict everything. Let's see, where was the Wheel of Gotcha? Because I'm kind of curious as to what might be inside it. I think it was over here? No, it was not. There it is. Yeah, not into it. As I figured. There also wasn't a shop or anything around, so I think it's just gonna be straight to the boss. Health ain't looking great, but we also haven't used an elixir at all since we've been here, so I think we're okay.